All right, YouTube. So, brought out the big guns. Who knows? I still don't think that the expert, having the best or whatever is going to help the fact that I still can't cut a straight line. But who knows? We'll give it a shot. So what I did is I bought a Diablo metal cutting, aluminum metal cutting drill bit. I put it on my Flex Volt, my DeWalt here. I don't have a problem cutting wood with this thing in a straight line, so we'll see what we can do there. And the reason why I brought that is today we've got to cut all of those. There's several pieces of J channel there. They call it J channel, and we've got to cut multiple pieces. So we got to cut 90 3/4, two of those, 90 3/4, two of those. Well, I don't know why they just don't say four, but because they're giving it the name too. So you label it 90 11/16, two of those. So we've got to cut all of those, and then on top of that, once we get it cut, then we got to cut it at a 45. So if you were looking at the piece, and I know this is not J channel, we got to cut from here to here at a 45 this way, but we got to preserve the length. So the 45's got to come in here. So I figured I can do it on there, get it set up. I can set up a jig, a stop and everything with that, because I do it all the time when I'm cutting board and stuff. So I figured this might give me more control if it works, if it can actually cut the aluminum. I'm sure it will cut the aluminum, but I got to, especially with these lengths, so that way I can get a consistent cut every time on that, because you guys know how I am horrible on the bandsaw. So that's what we're going to do today. You guys know the routine. We've got a lot of cutting to do to get this. These are longerons, or whatever, I think that's what they call them. Stiffeners, basically. So I've got to get those done. And you know the routine. Phone's ringing over here, so I got to answer the phone. But, plane's not going to build itself, so I got to get to work. All right, so I got the J channel undone here. I want to kind of talk about, so we'll take the longer lengths and we'll move these in the shorter lengths. I've already had to cut one stiffener, this stiffener here, from this piece of J channel right here. So I've seen other videos where builders say, oh, we didn't get enough J channel. I think they did. I don't know. I wasn't there. But it clearly says cut your longest J channel pieces from the longest length. It says that here. So I know I need 2, 4, 6, 8. I need 8, actually 2, 4, 6. I need at least 6 from these 90 inches. So let me pull out 6 of these. 1, before I even get cutting. 2, 3. Well, see, we might have, yeah. Let me count them here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so I got six of the 8-footers. So that is what I need. Instead of shooting it down here at the ground, I should probably show you. So I got 6 of the 8-footers. So that's where the 90 inches are going to come from. Then it says 50, 2, 4, 6. So then the 50 and 5, 8, 68 and stuff. So I've got to kind of, I know I'm going to cut the 90 inches from these guys. So I'm going to use those for the 90 inches. And then you got to just stop. You just can't start cutting. So then you got to go and do the measurement on these other ones. So I'm going to go look at those and see if I can get the 50 inches, and stuff like that. Because I'm sure there's a magical number that you have to use and stuff. But I do know I have enough for the 90 inches. So I'm going to cut those first. And I'll cut 2 of the 11/16 and then the 3/4. I got 4 of the 3/4. So what I'll do is get one cut, get a I don't want to say template, but get a stop set up, and then cut the other one, and then I'll do the 90 3/4. But I just want to call that out, because I've heard some builders say, oh, we don't have enough of the J channel. and they have to wait for it. But no, I think you do. I don't know. I'll find out when I get there. But the instructions clearly say cut the longer from the longer pieces from the longer J channel. So I will, I'll take a look at that, and I'll let you know after we get done cutting. I'm just gonna cut first. I'm gonna cut the length, and then I'll set the machine up for the cut the 45s. All right, so I got the anti-lady glasses on, and everything. So yeah, you got to be safe. There's going to be a lot of metal floating around here, I'm sure, for sure. And you don't want to lose an eye getting that metal in there. I'm getting fogged up. So make sure you wear your safety glasses when doing this, especially with power tools. Anytime you're working with metal, grinding, drilling, and stuff. I mean, it's just not worth losing your eyesight over. All right, so I got the piece measured. If you go all the way out here, let me switch around. All right, so now the next piece, this is the one that is keeping me up. Not keeping me up, I'm up, I'm awake, I'm here. Is cutting this at a 45. So what you want to do is you want the piece, but you got to preserve this edge. So 45 in. See how that's cut? Let me sit down here and I'll show you. See how that's kind of cut in, but you want to preserve this length. You don't want to take any off of this length. But you want this to be cut at a 45, and you got to do it on both ends. So what I did is you cannot do it. I tried to do it on my miter saw, and this is what happened. The miter saw grabbed it and just shredded it. So I have pulled out my trusty bandsaw, my nemesis. All right. So, and I just kind of worked it out. We have plenty of scrap. So I'll show you. So we have plenty of scrap. And what I've done is I figured out the way of positioning this piece. And the way I position it is I know I got to preserve that bottom piece. So what I do is I run this up. It's kind of hard to do. And I start my cut. I set my bevel here to 45 degrees. And I start this cut approximately halfway between that, or at the beginning of that bend. And then I turn on the saw, and let me turn it on. Hold my part in there and just run it through. And that gives me the 45. Now I can see that I probably need to cut a little bit more. Just nip a little bit more off of that, but take, shallow cuts and then go longer. So that will take care of this side. So I'm going to do all of the pieces on this side, and then I'm going to come back and there you go, the 45. So then I'm going to come back and figure out the other side. I'll flip it around, but you just got to work through this stuff. You're fabricating your thing. I'm going to use the smaller pieces. Start out with the smaller pieces first. I've got them all cut. They're all here. I'm probably going to practice a couple more times. Maybe get a measurement from a point on here, because they're all going to be the same at this point, right? They're all going to be the same at this point. So maybe get a measurement and just use a measurement so that way they're consistently the same. I don't know, but you just got to kind of work through it. But that's how I did it. I kind of eyeballed it, and we're just going to go with that for now. All right, so I got all of this side cut using my method. Now what I did is, as I cut about 2 of them, let me grab another flat piece here. We got plenty. There's no reason to get anxious. So what I did is I realized that it was best for me to have this edge up. So have it on this profile here, turn it, have my miter set to 45, turn the blade on, and then make sure that this is flat against the table. Move that in at the beginning of where I want the cut. Have it start the cut, and then progress to move this forward through the saw, and I'll just show you that real quick. So I got one hand on. Then clear it, right? Turn your blade off, and then there you go. And that gives you your perfect 45-degree cut. So yeah, so that's how I did it. And so now what I have to do is set up and now come up with a strategy. So but the main thing is get this so you're doing it the same way every time. So that way you know it's the right. And use your test pieces, use your practice pieces to cut those, right? To test on. So yeah, that's what I did to get it to do my testing on and everything. So now I got to do the other side. All right, so I'm gonna do this one a little bit different, and let me tell you why. Because it's I think I found an easier way. Sometimes when you work through this, find an easier way. So I got one cut that I like, and I'm just gonna use that one as my kind of like my starting template, because all it is getting this piece here lined up to the butt, or to where the blade starts. So I'm just going to use this piece, put it in, you know, put them together, and then use this to get my pieces lined up, right? And then start my blade, and then use this as my template. I think that will work better for this in this run than the other way. The other way worked great, but I think for this side, doing this side, I think this will work better. Because once it starts cutting, or once I get my first cut, I can actually remove that, remove my template, so I'm not cutting it down every time I run. So just use this to kind of get it lined up. So that's perfect right there, right? And then hold it down, and then remove my template, and then proceed to do my cut. Or you can actually, if you wanted to, draw your line as well. So that's what I'm going to do for this. I'll let you know how it works out for me. All right, so I got them all cut to their 45s. They all look good. I got them laid out here on the bench. There's 2 in a stack in a lot of these, so don't think I didn't undercut. I'll show you, there's 2. So they all match up. Everything looks good. Making sure. Same. Yep. So what I did, you guys saw me make this. So I made this piece when I did a couple samples. You know, I took some of the scrap. I hope it's scrap. I gotta call Vans and see if it's scrap. I gotta go look in the plans. Doesn't say save them, but who knows, right? So I got these pieces. And then what I found there in the last one, when I cut the first set that you saw me, the way that I did it was perfectly fine. On the second one, though, I found out it was better just to use this as a template, draw the lines, line the blade up, and then cut it using this as a template. That way it was so much easier to do it that way. So yeah, get yourself some scrap. You're going to have some, I believe, I hope. And cut your angles, get them the way you want them, and use these as the template for your cut lines. Your saw on your band saw needs to be at a 45, either one way or 45 the other. I mean, I can tell you that if you're going to use the band saw. Like I said, I tried using my compound saw for cutting them square down like this. For chopping them, it was great. This thing is phenomenal. Did a really good job. Cutting them straight down, getting them cut to length. Cutting them at a 45, it will mangle. It will scare the bejesus out of you. It will do that to the piece. So don't try it. So it is a 4-step operation. Yeah. So you got to cut the ends off. Actually, 3-step per piece. So you got to cut the ends off, and then you got to tailor them. So the next piece I've got to cut is this piece here, which I have to go back. I have a question for Vans. I know I have to cut. It doesn't matter if I cut at this. So I'm going to use the chop saw. I'm going to go ahead and cut this piece here, this one here. But these angles, I'll go ahead and get those cut. The question that I have is, how does it go in here? So I'm going to give Vans Tech Support a call here in a minute and see how this piece sits inside. If it's angled in, if this goes to the back, or if this goes to the back. You know, what part goes to the back. So I'll give them a shout here. But first, I'm going to get it cut, and then we'll go from there. All right, so not a whole lot going on, just a lot of just sub-assembly, getting the ribs in place. I've got the edges there. I'm gonna now get those tied in to the bulkheads here and everything. And you know, just not a whole lot. One thing they have you do is draw a line. I suspect what that's for, so you can take the rivet line, put the black in the hole. So you got to drill. So all of it looks like all these holes have to be drilled and everything. But yeah, so I'm going to get the sides on, and then we're just, you know, plugging away. Just working through it. I mean, it's just one of those things. It is exciting, though. I will tell you, the fact that I'm sitting here looking at the substructure of the empennage and everything. So it's coming together. Stay tuned, and I just wanted to give you a shot of what it looked like with the ribs in and the bulkheads in. And now I'm going to put the sides on, and that will kind of tighten everything up and everything. So it's exciting. Yeah, this is very, very, very exciting to see it coming together like this. Wow, what a day. So there you go. There is the inside of the empennage with 3 of its 5 bulkheads. There's a bulkhead here, and there's a bulkhead that goes on the very end. But isn't that, oh my God, that is just incredible. I have to say myself, that picture is incredible. I think I'm gonna take a couple pictures of it. Yeah, it's just, man, what a day. We got our stiffeners cut, we got our, and in place, we got them marked up, we got the lines. Yeah, so what they do is you put lines on the stiffener, and you can't really see them, but when you move them, I can see them, but when you move them up and down, you'll see them come in line in the holes. And so that obviously is how we're going to match drill everything. So yeah, so today what we're doing is just mocking it up, putting everything together, make sure pieces fit, make sure we're not missing anything. That's why we still got the blue on and everything. But yeah, it's just incredible. Now the instructions are Vans tells you to take 2 sawhorses. So I've got 2 sawhorses next door. I'm gonna bring those over, and we'll get those sawhorses set up. And I bet you that's so you can get to these rivets here at the bottom. There's obviously rivet lines. These stiffeners all have to be drilled and riveted. So probably the sawhorses too make it easier to rotate the piece, the tail and everything. So wow, what a day. This is, I'll have to say, this is probably one of the better days. I mean, every day is a good day building an airplane, but today is exciting. The fact that we have a tail cone taking shape and everything. So really excited. I don't know if you really can't tell. It's been a long day, but we got a lot of work done, and a lot more, obviously a lot more work to do, but it's just, yeah, just amazing. Just utterly amazing. She's a thing of beauty.